Working at height means working at any height from which there is a risk of falling. Work at height is a key area of concern for workplace safety in Singapore, as falls from height has been the top contributor to workplace deaths in Singapore over the years. Working at heights is an activity we can't avoid because of the nature of our work. However, we can work at heights safely if we have all the necessary controls in place before we begin working at heights. In this video, we will discuss the hierarchy of control for safe working at heights and the different types of fall prevention systems. Let's start with the hierarchy of controls. The hierarchy of controls is a method of identifying the most effective method to protect workers from falling from heights. They are arranged from the most effective methods to protect the worker from falling from height to the least effective methods. They are elimination, which is most effective, that all hazards of working at height are removed. Followed by substitution, which can be achieved by changing the process to replace the hazard with one that presents a lower risk. Engineering controls, which prevent hazards from contacting workers by physical means that reduce the likelihood of falling from heights. Administrative controls, which are procedures, training or warnings that raise safety awareness when working at heights and reduce exposure to the hazard by following procedures. Personal protective equipment, which are devices for protecting workers, such as lifelines and safety harnesses. They should be used only as a last resort and may be necessary at the same time as other control measures. Wherever possible, we should always use the most effective control method in all our work at heights. Next, let's look at some example of how to apply hierarchy of control for working at height. Let us begin with the most effective control, that is, elimination. Elimination control provides the highest level of protection and the most effective control. As you can see from the video, the worker uses a paint pole and stands on the ground to do the painting work instead of working at height. By using this control, the hazard of working at heights has been removed, so there is no risk of falling from heights. Let's go on to substitution control. Substitution control should be the next choice of control, if elimination control cannot be implemented for the job. Substitution controls are to use a safer alternative or to change the work process to reduce the risk of falling from height. In this video you can see that MEWP is used for working at height. The MEWP offers greater stability for working at heights than using ladders or scaffolding, thereby reducing the risk of falling at heights. Next, engineering control. If both elimination and substitution control are not possible, the next level of control to apply will be engineering control. It's the most common type of control. Engineering controls are physical means such as barricades, safe working platform and scaffolding. That allows workers to work safely at height and protect them from falling. This control helps reduce the likelihood of falling from height. This is the standard requirement of barricades. 1. There should be a toe board of at least 90 mm to prevent falling objects. 2. The mid-rail must not be more than 600 mm above the ground. And 3. The guardrail must be at least 1 meter high and not more than 600 mm above the mid-rail. Additionally, the railing must be fixed inward and not outward to prevent falling objects during installation and dismantling. Note that all barricades provided as fall protection must be able to withstand a minimum weight of 100 kilograms force. Next, administrative control. Administrative controls cover the systems of work or work procedures that reduce the exposure of persons to the risks of falling. These will include a risk assessment, safe work procedures, fall protection plan, and permit to work. Prior to any work at heights, all work systems and procedures must be established to ensure that all hazards associated with work activities are addressed effectively. The work system and procedures need to be briefed and made available to workers involved in working at heights, so that they know how to perform the work at heights in a safely. Administrative control must not be used alone. It must be used in conjunction with elimination, substitution, engineering or control of PPE to ensure effectiveness. Then we have the Personal Protective Equipment Control, PPE. PPE control should be used only as a last resort, after all other control measures have been considered. It should be used as a short-term contingency or as an additional protective measure. The effectiveness of PPE control dependent on the correct equipment being chosen, fitted, and worn properly at all times. Note that all lifelines used for anchorage are to be designed by our professional engineer PE, installed according to the PE design and certified safe to be used by the PE. To ensure all hazards are adequately addressed and risks are being brought down to the lowest as possible, a combination of control measures should be applied to the work at heights. Let's look at the examples of a combination of control measures being applied for one work activity. First example, changing on floodlight. Administrative control, risk assessment, safe work procedures and full protection plan is established and briefed to all workers working at heights prior to commencement of work. Substitution control, using a boom lift, a safer method to reduce the risk of falling from height. PPE control, anchoring safety harness to a secure anchorage for fall arrest. Second example, wall rebars work. Administrative control, risk assessment, safe work procedures and full protection plan are established and briefed to all workers working at heights prior to commencement of work. Engineering control, scaffolding with proper barricade and work platform for protecting workers from falls. PPE control, anchoring safety harness to a secure anchorage for fall arrest. Now, let us look at the different types of fall prevention systems. They are the fall arrest system and the travel restraint system. Let's start with the fall arrest system. The fall arrest does not prevent a fall from occurring, but keep a person from hitting the ground during a fall and minimize the impact of a fall. It comprises three parts. 1. The anchorages, which are the anchor point or the lifeline. 2. The body support, which is the body harness. 3. The connections, which are the lanyard, shock absorber that connect the body harness to the anchorage point. When using a fall arrest system, it is always important to calculate the fall distance. This is how fall distances are calculated. Firstly, the length of the lanyard. for example 1.6 meter. Second, the length of shock absorbed after deployment, for example 1 meter. Third, a person's height, for example 1.7 meters. Fourth, add a safe falling distance of 1 meter. With all 4 components added together, that are the safe falling distance when using the fall arrest system. And based on the example given, the safe falling distance is 5.3 meters. When anchoring the safety harness, always anchor it high when possible, as this will reduce the fall factor and the impact of the fall. Always practice 100% tie-off when using the fall arrest system. Now let's talk about the travel restraint system. The travel restraint system designed to limit the distance a person can travel, to prevent a fall. The system commonly used in our worksite is the self-retractable lifeline and lanyard system. The system was made up of 3 parts. 1. The body harness. 2. An anchorage point. And 3. The self-retractable lifeline or lanyard, which attached to the full body harness and anchor point. The self-retractable lifeline and lanyard provide rapid stopping power to prevent a person from falling from height. Let's take a look at this fall test using a self-retractable lanyard. The fall distance is a lot to the minimum to prevent a person from falling. Thank you for watching this video. Note that working at heights is a high-risk activity. Perform work at height safely.